Mr. Chairman, thank you for bringing us here, and thank you, Mr. Gonzalez, for bringing us to your home community.
Thank you.
One of the things that I truly cherish about this committee is the opportunity to get outside the D.C. swamp and to listen to people, although I will note it is hot and humid in South Texas, and it is about 80 degrees and beautiful in Wisconsin today. But that being said, flooding has had a significant impact on the Rio Grande Valley. This committee had an opportunity to see some of that firsthand today in the committee's visit to the Colonias. And I think we should really explore how the federal government can partner with local areas to meet this need. Flood infrastructure costs millions of dollars. But instead, what's so frustrating when I hear from folks here is that the federal government and local resources are being needed to address a different crisis. And that's the porous border costing the state of Texas and cities across the Rio Grande Valley millions of dollars each year. We'll hear it in the video that there's schools in this region who are building barriers to protect students from high-speed car chases with drug cartels. City attorneys are having to double their staffs to keep up with the pace of their work. American cities are struggling every day because the federal government, led by President Biden, refuses to do the job and secure the border. The border crisis numbers are staggering. Since President Biden became president, 2.8 million illegal border counters have occurred. That's 3 times the population of the state of Delaware. And it includes 3,600 unaccompanied minors. That's 50 yellow school buses of children without their parents making a perilous journey across the U.S.-Mexico border. And sadly, many of these children are victims of human trafficking. These traffickers often abuse females, and in particular, some of these young girls. Our law enforcement at the border is being stretched thin because the Biden administration refuses to take action, and it's having very deadly consequences. Drug cartels are taking advantage of Biden's open border policies to smuggle poisonous, illegal fentanyl across the border for distribution in every city in the United States of America. Since Biden took office, DHS has seized 13,000 pounds of fentanyl. That's roughly 3 billion fatal doses. In Racine County in Wisconsin, one county in Wisconsin, last year, 68 people died from illicit fentanyl overdose deaths. Thousands across this country. And that's the fentanyl we're able to catch, the 3 billion doses. Americans keep dying because cartels are making billions of dollars on human trafficking and drug trafficking because the Biden administration refuses to step up and secure the border. What the Biden administration has done to secure the border that is just 10 miles away from where we sit today. Let's review. On day one, President Biden canceled border wall construction and is currently paying contractors to sit on $350 million worth of wall material. The $1.9 trillion inflation-inducing stimulus plan passed at the beginning of the Biden administration included $0 to secure the U.S.-Mexican border. The $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill that was passed included $0 to secure the U.S.-Mexico border. And to make things worse, the Biden administration's own budget slashed DHS funding, Department of Homeland Security, by $800 million. President Biden and Border Czar Harris, I think, should come to the Rio Grande Valley to see the real-world impacts that their decisions are having on the communities here in South Texas. It has to stop. The Biden administration is working to make it worse. They want to end Title 42. According to the Biden administration's own accounting, if Title 42 were to end, we would see an increase in crossings to 18,000 individuals today. And think about how much more challenging life would be for folks here in the Rio Grande Valley if that were to happen. towns should be focusing their resources on the needs of the community, of flooding and other areas that we've heard today, areas of need that this committee saw at the Colonias earlier. But instead, we're seeing communities here in South Texas using local funds to address what should be a federal issue, and that's securing the U.S.-Mexico border. The failure of the federal government to deal with this problem is a detriment to cities across South Texas. Today, every town in America is facing problems stemming from a porous border. But border towns are bearing the brunt of the cost. It's impacting the ability of towns to afford long-term infrastructure projects. And the inaction by the Biden administration is pushing Texans to pay for a federal issue. This hearing, I believe, is the first congressional hearing at the border since President Biden took office. The inaction of the president's causing pain across the border. This is a problem that President Biden and Border Czar Harris in Washington simply cannot continue to ignore. The problems this committee saw today, and the problems are solvable if the federal government does its job. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.